Hey, what's up guys, Bearded Coder here. So today I'm going to give you a basic overview of all the layouts in the Android Studio. So today we'll be building an app and I will show you how to use different layout attributes like here common, text, buttons, widgets, layouts and all. And I'll tell you about the different structures that I used in this file. So let's start. First of all, you need to know that there are three main types of layouts that are the parent layouts. One is the linear layout, second is the relative layout, and constraint layouts. So in linear layout, it is one of the most basic and simple layouts in the Android. So this basically means that everything that you put inside this, like text views, buttons, or edit text or anything, they'll be just here, they'll just come out here as specified in the orientation. For example, let's go ahead and specify the orientation. I'll set to vertical. That means that all the layouts will go down. If I set this horizontal, it will show that it will go from left to right. So now let's add a text view. So just to remind you that there are two ways of adding text view. One is by design and one is by text. So if you click on design and you go ahead and just drag and drop this text view, that will also do the same thing as the text, like here. But I think that text is much more easy and it is very good whenever you're developing complex layouts. So I'll just go ahead and delete this. And now let's start by adding a text view. So we'll just add text view. I'll give the layout width. Layout width is the width of the text view that you want. So I'll just set to wrap content. So if I set to wrap content, it will see how long my text is and it will equally wrap right up. Otherwise, if I choose match parent, it will go from this left side to the right side. Or if I can easily put any size that I want. For example, I'll just put 50 dp. So here, after putting 50 dp, enter. So it will automatically give a 50 dp width to the text view. But I generally, now for this, let's keep wrap content. And the height also to wrap content. And if you want to add a text to your text view, simply go ahead and write text, enter, and you can type any text like hello. Good. And if you want to change the text size, then text size. Remember one thing, that whenever you're building an Android app, the text size in the whole application needs to be mentioned in SP unit, measurement unit, not in dp. Because dp is used for everything else, but for giving text size we use sp. So I'll write here 14 sp. Then text color. Now I can choose a color from the colors XML right here in the values. You can see I've mentioned the Android has mentioned 3 colors. But if I want to mention my own hex code here, so I can do that also by typing like this hashtag black. But instead of mentioning your hex code right here, what you should do is you should just copy this hex code, go in the colors XML file, and just copy it here and assign a name to it. Like I'll just give color black. So now what I need to do is I'll just copy this here and I'll just type color black. So now this color black can be used in any layout items and there's no need to mention the hex code everywhere. So after this, you have much more attributes. Like you can just press Control and space and look for the attributes, and you can assign them. So like padding, we can give padding also, and it will refer to like this 10 dp. So what padding and margin, if you see here, I'll just give this 10 dp. So what is the difference between padding and margin? So what padding means is that inside this layout item, that is the text view, I have a text called hello. So what padding will do is padding will give space between the text view, that is the parent, and the text. So if I go ahead and increase this from 10 to 20, you can see that the text, the distance between the text and the layout item has increased. But if I go ahead and increase the layout margin to 20, it increases the distance between the layout item and the parent layout of that item. So this is the difference between a padding and a layout margin. I'll just remove this. You can set gravity also, like this, gravity center, so it will center line the layout item. Same you can do, there are much more text views if you want to see. Visibility, you can set the visibility to gone, visible, or invisible. So this is very important, because whenever we are building an app and we want a specific text view to become invisible after a button click, for example, then we can set this visible for now, and we have to assign a ID to every item, and that with that ID we can use that specific layout item in the Java file, and we can change the visibility for that or anything. For example, the text we can change, or the color or text size, everything can be changed from the Java file also. So we'll add an ID. So let's keep an ID text view underscore hello. Good. So now let's go ahead and add an edit text. So what is an edit text do is, it is simply a place where the user can enter information into the app. So we'll write edit text, just wrap content. Then in edit text you can add text also, but I don't recommend it, because if the user wants to enter in that edit text, the user will have to delete this text and then can write in edit text. So what I highly recommend is using hints. So if you type hint, enter, you can enter any hint here. Enter your name. So as you can see, this is the edit text. It has an hint called enter your name. This is kind of a grayed out text. If the user clicks on this edit text to type, it will automatically become invisible, and the user will straight away start typing their information. So I'll just change this to match parent so that it looks much better here, and I'll give some margin to it. Margin, let's say I'll give 20 dp. So you can see that it has changed. And one more thing, I can give this margin to each and every side differently. Like if I want to give the margin on the left side and on the right side, so I'll just type margin left, and I'll just specify the units, 20 dp, then margin right, same 20 dp. And then if I want to give margin top also, let's say I want to give margin top 40 dp, so like this, and I'll give here also some margin, overall margin 20 dp. So it says hello, enter your name. Now if you want to add a button, just go ahead and type button. I'll set this to wrap content and wrap content. Then you can see the button has appeared here. So we'll just center align it like gravity center. And I'll give this margin 10 dp, or let's say give it 20 dp. So you can see this is the button. So now let's give a text to this button. We'll just type text, click me. We can assign different text colors also. Text color black, text size 12 sp. Remember, size for text is to be mentioned in sp. So now we have seen what the linear layout does is, you can simply change the orientation also. For example, if I do horizontal, it will align all these layout items inside that layout horizontally. For example, if you see, this is the text view, this is the edit text, and this is the button. So obviously I'll have to give some weight to it, but like this you can change the orientation also. So now we'll remove the orientation and we'll change the linear layout to relative layout. So what relative layout does is, you'll have to manually adjust each and every item according to the items above, below, left or right to that specific item or near to that item. Like you can see here, everything is now at one place. So I'll have to mention IDs to each and every item like this. Edit text, I'll spell edit text, hello, and ID button. So now I'll just start by, I want this text view to be on the top, then the edit text, and then the button. So how will I start is, I'll write, first of all I'll align this in center. As you can see, this text view is here, right here. So I'll just type center horizontal, then parent, wait, center horizontal true. You can see that the text view has been aligned at the center horizontally. So these two attributes, especially the center horizontal and the center in parent as well as the center vertical, these three attributes are only possible or are only available in relative layout. They are not available in other layouts like the linear layout or the constraint layout. In linear layout, you can do the same thing by giving layout gravity and simple gravity to a layout item. So now we'll go ahead in this edit text view, and what we'll do is, we'll just type below, layout below, we'll give the ID, this ID. By giving this ID, you can see that it has automatically aligned itself below the text view, that is the text view hello ID. So now if we want to align this button below the edit text, so what we'll do is, we'll just copy this ID, we'll just type here below ID, so it will automatically go below. And to align the center as well, we'll just type center horizontal true. Like this, the same layout can be achieved by relative layout also. But I think that relative layout is the most highly used layout, and it is very easy also to build complex layouts with relative layout than linear layout. Now let's go ahead and do this with the constraint layout. Now constraint layout is one of the most recent layouts that has been launched by the Android team. It is very important layout because these days many complex apps use that layout, and the main advantage of that layout is that if you make this kind of layout in that constraint layout, what it will do is, it will automatically adjust to the screen size of the particular device that the user is using. So if the device size is small, the layout will not get distorted, or it will be the same, and it will automatically resize all the items to adjust the according to the screen size, and if this mobile is much bigger, then it will also adjust to that. So let's go ahead and test it. So we'll change the parent layout to constraint layout, and here we have to mention some new attributes which are only available in constraint layouts, like constraint. You can see we have now all these attributes available inside that constraint parent. So what we'll do is we'll just assign constraint left to left of, first of all, I'll just type constraint left to left of parent. So what it will do is it will constrain the left side of this item to the left side of that parent. So, and if I type constraint right to right of parent, so as you can see, the wrap content, the width is the same, but it has been constrained, and according to any device, any screen size of the device, it will remain in the center only. And we'll just go ahead and do the same with these layouts. As you can see, the button has also been aligned. So if I want this edit text below the text view, so I'll just go ahead and write constraint top. So I'm just constraining the top of this item, of this edit text, to the bottom of the text view. So I'll just write constraint top to bottom of, underscore to bottom of. I'll just give the ID here. So it will come down. Same we'll do with this button, and we'll change the ID to edit text so that this button comes below the edit text. So we are constraining the top of this button to the bottom of this layout. So you can see we have achieved that same layout here, but this layout is much more efficient and has much more advantage than the other layouts because it is a self-adjusting layout, of course. So this is what a constraint layout looks like, and in future we'll be developing many apps and we'll be using these kind of things, but for now I've just given you a basic overview of what 3 main layouts of Android look like. So now let's go ahead and add some more items. We'll use like widgets. So now I'll just tell you about some, let's go ahead and add an image view to our layout. So for adding an image view, we'll just write like this, image view, and again I'll give a fixed height and width to this, 100 dp and 100 dp. So whenever you want to assign an image to an image view, we just type src source, and from the drawables folder we can choose any image. And if we want to add an image to the drawables folder, I'll show you that also, how to do that. But first of all, let me constrain this item according to the layout. I'll place this image view below this button. So we'll type constraint left to left of parent, constraint right to right of parent, constraint top to bottom of the ID of that button, so that it is placed under the button, and we'll give a margin top specifically. Let's say give 50 dp so that it becomes distinguishable, and you can see all these have been constrained. If we want to, we can constrain this to the top of that button also, so that the distance between this image view and button remains consistent in each and every screen of the app, of the device. So we'll just type constraint. We have already done it, so okay, so it's done. We can add constraint bottom also, but no need right now. So if you want to add an image to a drawable file, You can see that drawable folder here. Open this, right click on that drawable folder, new, batch drawable. So this is one of the methods to import batch drawable, because I recommend this, because batch drawable, what it does is it automatically creates different sizes like the MDPI, the HDPI, the single X, double X, and triple X. So all these 6 type of sizes for a specific image is very helpful, because it automatically adjusts to the different size of that device. So for now, I'll just add a simple image by just copying that image and pasting it here in the drawable. I'll just go ahead and copy this. Then in the drawable folder, we'll paste this. We'll just set the path. Okay. If you can change the name of this file like Android underscore logo, enter. So you can see that the PNG file has been added to this. And to access this file, we'll just go ahead and type src Android logo. So you can see that Android logo is available here. So this is how you use some of the main items that are used to build an Android layout. There are many different also, like the seek bar, the progress bar, the calendar view, or the rating bar. And in layouts, we have these many layouts. I'll tell you much more about the frame and the coordinator layout. Those layouts are used for for using fragments, or whenever you are using a navigation view or tab layout. So in future we'll do those. And these also, the scroll view, the recycler view, and the spinner, the view pages, the card view, these all are some advanced items and we'll be using in future tutorials. But for now, I think this video is enough. I have given you some basic overview of the basic items that are being used in Android developing. So thanks guys, and please watch my future tutorials to learn Android developing.